Good morning and welcome to the National Newspaper Publishers Association's Let It Be Known. It's Friday and it's time to have a little fun. First, we start by breaking down some words. What does fanatic mean? Well, the dictionary says it's a person filled with excessive and single-minded zeal, especially for an extreme religious or political issue. Still, another work defines a fanatical person as a person exhibiting excessive enthusiasm and intense, uncritical devotion towards some controversial matter. This all brings us to today's topic. Probably no two groups of people in the history of popular music have ever had more devoted followers than the king of pop, Michael Jackson, and the queen, Beyonce. Fans of the Beatles and Elvis Presley have been known to be a bit fanatical and even a little bit crazy. But like the late king of pop, Beyonce's fan base is unrivaled. We're going to talk about the difference between fans and fanatical this morning. We got a nice panel assembled. We have Anthony Tillman, Nakia Cooper, and of course, Rashonda Tate Billingsley. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Well, it's good to see you all. But first, let's start here. Before we get to Beyonce and Michael Jackson, I want to just, Anthony probably is on top of this. Chrissy Teigen's tweet got all the attention from Congress. The Republicans called a hearing about some tweets about Hunter Biden, but then Twitter said, wait a minute. Donald Trump's White House called us and said, take down Chrissy Teigen's tweet. What's up with that, Anthony?
Well, you already know, during Donald Trump's term, him and Chrissy Teigen got into it a lot, and of course, she said some things that was very wild on Twitter. And at one point, when they suspended Trump, they wanted to, she left, because she said some things and she came back, and then she left and she came back. So that one tweet it went crazy, and that's a tweet that went viral. And she even posted it yesterday on her Instagram page, because that was something that they used during this time to kind of spotlight the whole Trump issues and with social media and Twitter.
And Nakia, Rashonda, Chrissy Teigen speaks her mind all the time. She tweets her mind.
Mm-hmm. Right, she does, and it's so funny because the Republicans want to shine a light on everything anybody else does, and they want us to just close our eyes and pretend we didn't see when Donald Trump did the exact same thing or worse. And so, this is just one of their the distraction tactics that a lot of them are using, because they want to go after Biden and by any means necessary, forgetting all the things that Trump did as well. And that with Chrissy Teigen was out there. It was bold with Chrissy. Chrissy had no F's left to give.
Hey, I second that.
You second that, Nakia?
I second that. Chrissy Teigen, she speaks her mind, and her people love her for it. I mean, that's really and truly before you really even knew that she was a former model or a model, more about her, tweeting and her fan base and things like that. And then that's how I came to know a little bit more about Chrissy Teigen. Before I was like, oh, okay, she's okay, she's married to John Legend, oh, okay.
Well, I think it says more. I'm sorry, Nikki. I think it says more about Trump. It says more about many in the GOP, that this is even, the whole Hunter Biden thing and this digging. And so the further they dig, it seems like they're digging their own grave.
Right.
But interesting enough, a former Twitter person told them to take down a tweet from Trump, but no one talks about anything that GOP members say all the time. I mean, of course, every tweet that comes out of their mouth is okay, but one tweet about Trump is not good. But of course, we all know what several members, of the GOP constantly tweet all the time. That's very negative, and actually can should be taken down from Twitter every day.
Well, Trump himself would tweet, particularly when it comes to the squad, right? Some very racist things, anti-women stuff, black women in particular. He really went after those members of the squad, right?
He did. I mean, he would do things. He went from telling April Ryan to get her round her people up because she knows all the black people in the country, round them up and get them to do things. And so they just they turned a blind eye to so much of what he did. And now they want to hold national hearings on something that someone else did that wasn't even half of that.
Well, the news out of Washington, I'm here in Washington. The news out of Washington this morning is that Mike Pence has been subpoenaed by the special counsel, that the Department of Justice is moving forward with its potential indictment of Trump anyway. Mm-hmm. So we'll see what happens with that.
Yeah, you just really wonder if they're going to ever really hold him accountable. Right? You can do the tweeting, you can do the investigation. These are all a bunch of smoke screens. It's like, okay, we got something on, we're going to come back with something on this. Are they really going to hold Donald Trump accountable, even if his base is starting to drift away, or some of the other people who feel like, oh, okay, he's hurting our political chances now? It's like they just keep gauging the temperature to see, and nobody's really being bold enough to jump out and say what's right or what's wrong, whichever side that you're on.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, in New York, the Manhattan District Attorney has stepped up his investigation, and apparently is on the verge of indicting the former president on charges that stem from that whole Stormy Daniels situation. We know a homegirl down in Georgia, the Fulton County DA, Fannie Willis, is just like a fingertip away from an indictment. She's waiting to gather her ducks in a row, I guess. And now you have the DOJ. So Trump could be looking at 3 separate indictments, or indictments in 3 separate jurisdictions within the next month. So we'll see what happens.
Right. It's really sad, though, because if this were anyone else, they would already be in jail. They would already face a number of charges and indictments. But because of the political nature of Trump, because of his ability, his masterful ability to play the victim, they have to tread lightly, and they have to give exceptions to him that they wouldn't give to ordinary people.
Yeah.
They don't have to.
It's one of those things that they're saying, indictments, impeachments, potato, it's all that with him, right? It's just like, okay, because you can bring it up. What are they going to make stick? And it just comes back to that accountability factor with the people who are supposedly charging Trump, and then the people who are judging Trump, right?
Yeah.
And the people who have to deliver the verdicts or whatnot. Who's going to do the top?
Well, listen, it's Friday. Forget Donald Trump. Forget the Republicans and Democrats for a day. Let's talk about something really meaningful, something that really we can sink our teeth in, that we can't sleep without talking about. And that is Beyonce and Michael Jackson. Well, why are we talking about Beyonce and Michael Jackson? Well, at the Grammys this past week, and Anthony was tweeting all night, as he does all the time. But at the Grammys, we saw Trevor Noah, who is a star himself, fawn all over Beyonce. We saw Lizzo win an award and basically say, Beyonce is the queen. We saw that with Adele just a couple of years ago. But here's the thing. Her concert, the Renaissance Tour, has gone on sale. And folks they're on GoFundMe. They're tweeting that they are willing to give a kidney. Her fan base, and it's testament, because if you say anything wrong about Beyonce, the Beyhive, or whatever you want to call it. They coming for you, and they're not gonna stop till they get you. Well, Michael Jackson, his fan base it remains. You can't say nothing about Michael without them coming at you, right? Michael Jackson had fans, and celebrities are like falling out over him. Famous story, which probably hasn't really been told, but Brandy, the first time she saw Michael Jackson, now she was already a star in her own right. She fainted, right? We're seeing folks falling. We haven't seen this with anybody else. We talk about Elvis, the Beatles, and you remember how crazy you see those videos and stuff. But none of that compares to what we see with Beyonce and Michael Jackson. Why, guys, are their fans so fanatical? And which fan base is the most fanatical?
Yeah, I fell out at New Edition. I passed out at Ralph Tresvant. I mean, I was 14.
Wow, Tresvant, you mean the guy that sings Sensitivity?
Hey, he was singing directly to me at that concert. But the Beyhive fans have made her, and what I love is that she appreciates it. She knows where her bread is buttered. You saw at the Grammys, she shouted out the LGBT community because she knows where her bread is buttered. They are diehard. She has just regular fans that are diehard. On the Defenders website, we did a what readers went through to get their ticket stories, and I was just dumbfounded at the levels that people went through. And one of the readers said that she was so excited and it felt like Hunger Games in getting her tickets.
I love it.
But wait. You said she loves her fan base. She cares about. How can we make that statement when there's a section that they're selling? It's called the Beyhive. It's standing room only, and the average ticket price in that section, $2,100. Soldier Field in Chicago. Now this is Ticketmaster's resale side. That seat, it's not a seat. Remember. $8,100. These people they're paying like mortgages and car notes, and they're selling their souls for this. She can stop that, right, Rashonda?
I mean, okay, come on now. So here's the thing: is that we want Beyonce. We're like, you support your fans, you love your fans. You should do these tickets for $60. And
why not?
Because Beyonce not a $60 chick.
Uh-oh.
That's the bottom line. Not at all. Not at all. You don't rise to that status level and then just say, okay, I'm just gonna be nice and do all my tickets at $60, and then Ticketmaster comes along and they add another $60 on anyway. And that's where a lot of the problem is coming in. Is they have a lot of Ticketmaster fees. I know a lot of artists that won't even deal with Ticketmaster for that very reason. Now, should people be pawning stuff? And as one couple said, he wouldn't buy the ticket because they were saving for a house, and she was serious when she said, "Screw that house." And so he was rethinking getting married because of that. That's a bit extreme. But I don't fault Beyonce. I love her. Ain't no way I would ever pay $2,000 to go see her. But I don't knock anybody that does, if they can afford it.
Right. So yeah, I think that the big issue is with what we call Ticketmaster and then the ticket sharks, right? Because even when they open up those portals, because one thing I can tell you, oh my gosh, I was in line. Like right now, we got the Houston Rodeo coming up and Bun B's Southern Takeover, and like last year, I got some really great seats. I was able to get online early in that virtual waiting room. Got those, and I'm saying the same thing could happen with the Beyonce people and everything. It's like, they open up these rooms, they tell you to wait, and then when it's your time, it's like, bam, time to get your tickets, right? And you try to buy them. The seats are already sold out. The problem is that you have a lot of these these third-party companies that buy up the tickets that are affordable. And
okay, but the point is the fans are willing to pay this. Forget the artist, right? that fans are willing to pay this.
There are fans willing to pay this, and so you can't stop it. So but my thing is, so we can't blame, Beyonce for the extreme prices, and because I'm a Houston girl, Rashonda, we're down here, so we got to defend the queen a little bit, right? So I love me some Beyonce. I am trying to get some tickets, but I do not think I'm gonna put my mortgage up for that. And it's just that culture of people that they will go above and beyond to do that. I don't even want to talk about this generation, but they won't even go to work, but they're going to make sure they get some Beyonce tickets. They're going to make sure Beyonce tickets.
So let's do this. So I remember being around the Michael Jackson, the whole scene, and what stood out for me is so many moments stand out. But when Michael was on trial in Santa Maria, California in 2005, he had, fans from Europe and Japan and all across the United States. There were fans who moved to California, to that area of California. They got jobs at Costco and other places. We interviewed these people, and they even they uprooted their lives to support Michael, to show their devotion. I mean, which fan base is more fanatical?
Well, one thing I remember about Michael Jackson was that Moonwalker movie. Man, you remember he was dancing with the rabbit, and remember how the fans would sneak on the stage, and they would it was like a cartoon. The fans just snuck on the stage, and he was kind of like they was stalking him, and then they was chasing him around the whole movie, and then he ended up doing like the dance against the rabbit, and he ended up being a rabbit. That's one thing I remember about Michael Jackson. But I will say that Beyhive fans are definitely they're going to spend that money regardless of what. I mean, you got I don't think at the point we really can compare, because Beyonce fans and MJ fans are two different types of people. Beyhive fans are more like they're just like look, I don't care what the ticket price is. I want to join the Renaissance Club. I don't think that Michael Jackson would just allow that to happen where his ticket prices would be that high. I think he would just. I don't remember Michael Jackson tickets being that high,
being that high
at all. And I don't
one
think
time.
I mean, but I just think we're in a different era right now.
We are
where the Ticketmaster knows their value, and they know what a price. Like even Lil Wayne is charging like $300 to come to the Fillmore. In Silver Spring. So what I'm saying, he think he Beyonce of low budget right now, doing like $300 at a Silver Spring. And he not so. But MJ, I think he at one point, and of course, is inflation going on. So I think around those days, I think if we really think about it, MJ prices was pretty much the same as Beyonce's at that time. So
when you factor in
when you factor in the math and like I guess the time, but at the end of the day, to anyone to this day will pay whatever they want if you're a fan of your artist. When you want to see your favorite artist, you will spend money. I remember I went to Paris to see Jill Scott. Yeah, I mean, what I'm saying. So when you're a fan of someone, you will go and pay whatever it takes.
Yeah, and so let's not misunderstand. This is just not about ticket prices. This is about how fanatical the bases are. I can't move on without this tidbit from our Miss Claudette Perry. She says even my producer at 12 or so went crazy when her cousin at Michael's last concert with the Jacksons. I got scared and I had to shake and smack them to try to calm them down. Mama telling, she said.
Yeah. Can I say this?
But
I honestly believe that there is people, and I've already told y'all I am a Beyonce fan, right? Okay. Michael Jackson's fans took it to another level. I'm sorry. I think that
I
Michael
think so.
Jackson's fanaticals, Michael Jackson's fan base is something you've never seen before, and I don't think you ever will see it before. Beyonce can go sit at a Lakers game, okay, with her husband and her child. Michael Jackson could never do that. Michael Jackson walks down the streets, you know, with glitter and gold in China, and you have 1,000 Chinese people falling out in the middle of the street. I have never seen anything like this. Beyonce's fans, and you know, like Eminem can call them, you know, remember he started calling, took it to another level with stands on the, you know, the kind of thing. They're more internet based. Like internet opened it up a lot, right? So internet, they'll stay on there, they're gonna troll you, they're gonna do all of this and that, right? Michael Jackson's people, like you said, they moved. They uprooted themselves to go and be by his side to show their devotion. You could not get the man through the street in a car, you know. And then think about it, even from the time the Jackson 5, when the girls are chasing them and all, you know, with everything that they had, scaring the bejesus out of them. Beyonce and Destiny's Child did not go through that. They had fans. It's incomparable. I just have to say that. It's two different things. And I even believe that still would have happened, even if it was, you know, internet based. It's the time. And I think Michael Jackson was the first big boom that we had as African Americans, right? That rivaled the Beatles and Elvis Presley and things of that nature. So he was the first, I think, for us in that sense. And everybody else is just a distant second, no matter how.
Ironically, the only time I saw Beyonce perform live was at Michael Jackson's 30th anniversary show at Madison Square Garden. She was with Destiny's Child, and they did a heck of a it was Bootylicious mixed with Billie Jean, and they tore it up. And that show, when you talk about ticket prices, this is 2001. That some people were paying as much as $10,000. And I remember going into Madison Square Garden, going into the entrance there with the Jacksons and fans. There must have been 30,000 fans outside. Now the garden only holds 20. So you got the 20 inside and you got like 30 on the streets of Manhattan jammed just to get a look. Michael walks in with Elizabeth Taylor. And like you said, you know, folks are just falling all over the place. And this guy had celebrities. This is the thing. And this is what I see with Beyonce too. Not only does like you and I, but the celebrities. I remember when Michael walked into the NAACP Image Awards in 1994, I believe it was, for the first time. He had been there, and Debbie Allen and lost their minds. Now, people see Debbie Allen and Smokey Rock, people like that, and they lose their minds. Well, those people are losing their minds over Michael Jackson.
Yeah.
And the same we see with Beyonce.
Well, I mean, like, but I'm telling you, I mean, just imagine if we really had Twitter during Michael Jackson era, like, you know, it probably would have been worse. I remember one time, you know, it was posted that, you know, Michael Jackson sold 750,000 tickets in London in less than 4 hours. And one person paid up to $35,000 for like a VIP seat. So that's what I'm saying. They're doing that same thing for, they're not spending $35,000 for one ticket to see Beyonce. I mean, celebrities are, but I'm saying more like, you know, regular folks aren't, you know, and that's what I'm saying. Just and I think, and of course, you know, I will agree, Michael Jackson had a different persona back then, because, you know, Michael Jackson wasn't going to a Lakers game in a front row. He would have to probably be in a private suite, because, you know, first of all, he wasn't really public like that. He wasn't. You didn't really see him. If I'm saying, there are two different people.
Be allowed to be public.
You know, Michael Jackson was more of a private person when he was out. You know what I'm saying? He wasn't really at the front row of the Lakers game with Jay-Z. He had a different crowd of people, and they was crazy. So it would have had to been announced before Michael Jackson even came to the game. He probably would have had to sneak in the back door.
Right? Can you imagine him sitting on the sideline at a Lakers game? The players would be stopping.
Lakers fans will stop playing basketball.
The Lakers will be not playing. They'll be jumping up and down.
I'm saying I can imagine you know, somebody right now like at a Lakers game and then see Michael Jackson, they probably forget they're a Laker. Like they probably would just like, I mean, I probably would
LeBron wouldn't have the scoring title.
I'd probably be like, hold up, like what? Michael Jackson? Yeah, I forget I'm a basketball player at that moment. You know what I'm saying?
Michelle Madison says her 8-year-old grandson is a huge Michael Jackson fan. That's the other thing, right? The younger generation who was not around yet, I should say, when Michael Jackson, his popularity transcended generations.
Right. Since my son was 3, he's been a Michael Jackson fan, moonwalking, imitate him, everything. He came out the womb. I'm like, how do you even know who Michael Jackson is? Yeah. But you know, and it's kids that are like that, and you know, so it's really, really different between the two. But you do see a different type of fans today. I don't know that we have the Michael Jackson fan as a whole these days that like we did back then.
Well, Claudette Perry says, for me,
kind of throw in a little pivot. Remember, Magic Johnson said he invited Michael Jackson to a Lakers game, and the fans didn't let him watch. Like, remember, he said he actually did a whole statement about that one time, talking about when he actually invited Michael Jackson to a Lakers fan, and he said, you know, that the fans wouldn't really allow him to even watch the game. They went crazy. So, you know what I'm saying? Like, that's what I'm saying. So, you know, but hey, Beyonce fans are crazy, and there's no, like I said, there is no undoubtedly mind that a Beyonce fan would do whatever it takes to see her.
I saw a fan tweet that they was willing to sell a kidney to go to the Renaissance store.
You know, at this point, if you have the chance to get a ticket, you're gonna get it. You know what I'm saying? And that's how, you know, that's how it is right now in this era. And also, hey, it's not just a lot of crazy Beyonce fans. It's a lot of Rihanna fans right now. So you know what I'm saying? She playing in the Super Bowl this weekend. You know what I'm saying? You got people that's going to the Super Bowl just to see Rihanna
for 13 minutes.
Right?
For 13 minutes. You got people that's going to fly to the Super Bowl, including myself, Steve Rihanna. You know what I'm saying? So I'm just saying, it's a little crazy. You know, it's crazy. If you like somebody, it's like, hey, I was a fan of Michael Jackson, huge big fan of Michael Jackson, and I couldn't even afford a ticket to see him. I probably was one of the people that was probably back then. I probably would be on GoFundMe trying to get a ticket to see Michael Jackson.
Power 96 says, ask Super Dave. He is the DJ for the Ricky Smiley Morning Show. He said Beyonce is overrated. He says, I believe Super Dave is in witness protection now.
Right? You better be careful about saying anything bad about Beyonce. But I wanted to touch on the tickets real quick because, you know, Beyonce's team is real quiet about how they move. But Taylor Swift, when her ticket fiasco went on, her team released a statement saying their tickets range from $49 to $449. That was what the management company set the tickets at. But when Ticketmaster put them on sale, tickets went up to $22,000. In some places, the cheapest ones were $12,000. And it basically is because Ticketmaster is a monopoly. They purchased Live Nation years ago. And so they're really the only direct seller. So they were charging $22,000 for some Taylor Swift tickets, and people were paying them.
Well, I'm going back to Claudette Perry. She says, for me, Prince, I don't know. Even the Kremlin was lit in purple upon his transition. Prince, I would have and did travel. And I will say this about my man Prince, because everybody knows that Prince is the man. When he did his musicology tour in 2004, I believe, Anthony, tickets at that time wasn't no more than $30-$40, and it came with the musicology CD. And look, the best concert I've been to, including all of the Michael shows, was Prince in 2004 musicology. My wife and I sat front row at the stage, and Prince just knows how to party. He knew how to party, and I'm purple all day. So y'all can have all of the fanaticals.
Me. I love it.
You know, I'm a fan. I like good music, but I don't know if it's being a journalist that has spoiled me, where I'm used to some free tickets. Because I love Beyonce, but I can't pay. I'm gonna be on. I just have to check it when it's streamed, unless somebody
can't do it.
tell you something. A guilty confession. I'm sorry. Like, I am willing to go to Vegas, and I keep trying to plan this this trip. I want to go to Vegas to see Usher in this residency, right? And yeah, I'm willing to pay about $1,000 if I need to. That's if I need to, right? And then I said that, you know, Madonna's coming, Janet Jackson is coming, and I'm doing these. My girlfriends and I are saying we have to do these once in a lifetime kind of excursions, but we're older a little bit now, right? So we're all in our 40s. We're like, okay, you know what? We are going to go and sit in a row to sure the Janet Jackson, you know, if we can get the Beyonce tickets, but I'm not paying that much, right? I'm not fighting her stands, but I'm not fighting the Beyhive. Now, I'm sorry, not doing that. But I want to make sure that we have these types of experiences, or we're trying to do it. It's like our little, you know, these trips that we have to take. And then I'm just say this last summer for NABJ, we made sure we got us some front row tickets to go see Lionel Richie.
Lionel
I mean, that was a great show. And we were up in there by, let's say we were among few of color, but everybody was shouting for Lionel. It was great. It's not my generation, but hey, I remember him, you know?
I love to continue this conversation, but I'm expected at Pennsylvania Avenue. So Anthony knows all about that.
You gotta tell us about that. Yeah.
Anyway,
you're holding out on the people. World, this is let it be known. Let it be known what you're doing. We need your business this morning.
So our president wants Black media over there this morning, and they want to give us a COVID test first. So I got to take a COVID test. So I got to run, y'all.
I love it.
Yeah. Listen, thanks so much, Nakia, Rashonda, and of course, Anthony. Keep tweeting.
I will.
I'm on everything he tweets.
Represent. Make us proud. Black press
matter. Black press matters.
Black press matters. Stacey in the White House.
We'll see you next week.
All right. Have a good one.
Bye.